let's start out with an informal greeting from me to you. What's happening? Hi. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're enjoying your day or your night and you're staying positive. Because you need to stay positive. So, just the other day I was commenting back, whoa, like there's more light in here, the sun is coming out. Which means that if you do see this going in and out, there it goes again. It's Mother Nature, she's doing it, I had no control over this. So, the other day I was commenting back on my comments on YouTube and I seen this. I wanted to answer it because I think it would be really, really beneficial. Like all the other questions that I try my best to answer. I really do think this is something that so many of us struggle with. It may be helpful to hear something because you could definitely apply it to another thing in your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be about this, but we're gonna answer this. The comment reads, I'm scared if I'm bi or not. My parents and my whole family are homophobic except my sister. And I like guys, but I'm scared of them because what if when I'm married to a guy, he will get drunk and hit me and stuff like that. I think that women are more calm. The first thing that I want to say is that you cannot categorize all men to be this way. It does not mean that every single man out there is going to hit you. And don't think that just because if you were to choose to marry a woman, she may not be capable of doing what in your mind a man could do, which would be hit you. There are plenty of women out there who are very abusive, verbally and physically and in all kinds of ways. It's not just men. And so I just want to say that right off the bat, it could be anyone that could be this way. It's not just one sex, one gender, or whatever, or what have you. It's not always going to be that way, and that's something that you really need to know and to think about. It could be anyone. It doesn't have to be the man that you marry, it doesn't have to be the woman that you marry, it doesn't have to be the genderless human being that you marry. It could be anyone, and I think that all has to do with getting to know someone. That is why it is a great idea to get to know somebody to the fullest or to the maximum amount that you would like to or whatever, because I know some people are okay with just knowing somebody for a little bit and then getting married. Everybody has their own thingies with that. Like everybody has their own decisions, opinions. Everybody is so different, so whatever goes to that person and applies to that person, you get me. But in a situation like this, you cannot be living thinking about these things. You're just wasting time thinking about them when it hasn't even happened yet. Like I get it. I understand, like you are worried that what if you fall in love and everything's perfect and then you guys get married and then this happens and you're gonna be like, oh damn it. Like, so I understand why you're thinking about it. But I personally suggest, like, just understand that yes, these things could happen, but this is why getting to know somebody is so crucial, because you just never know how somebody might end up. And I know people change all the time, and I know that it could develop into something, but if you start to see the signs early, like for example, I know that a lot of us are blinded by love and by the things that go on, and so when things like this happen, maybe we don't see it, maybe others around us see it, but we don't because we're living there and we wouldn't want that person to be that way, and we love that person. When there's all these things going on that maybe we don't really understand, it's psychological or it's not, or whatever it could be. Like the only advice that I can give, because I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not licensed anything, I'm simply just doing this because I want to provide an answer for you, and maybe something that I might say may change something in the way that you perceive things, or it might just help you, or maybe you just needed to hear something like this. I don't know. But if you want to get the correct answers and all that, then you should go look for a psychiatrist and therapist and have them help you with that part of your mentality and what you're feeling and those emotions and all that stuff that you might have, or those fears. But from my perspective, and my opinion, all I can say is that's why you get to know someone, and even though that's not a 100% guarantee that they're not going to be that way in the future, or that they don't have that hidden in with them, because you know most of the time when you start to get to know somebody, you want to impress them, you want to have them be like, ooh damn, like I love the way you flex your muscle, or what, something like that, you know what I mean? Like, and I said muscle, not muzzle. I feel like it's just part of the whole getting to know somebody. It's kind of like human nature, like, you know, like how animals, they go around and they like flirt, or like they do these things, or they attack other animals or whatever it is. Like, don't attack other people, but you get what I'm saying. Like, they have to impress their lover, or the other person or animal that they like. They have to seduce, impress. You know what I mean? You just have to win them over. And it's the same thing with dating. Like, so you want to look good in front of them, but you also want to stay true. And a lot of people don't stay true to themselves. A lot of people become people who try to cover them real selves up and try to make themselves be something that they know that they would like, something that they're not. And just to give you a little bit of advice on that, just be yourself. If somebody doesn't like you for who you are, how you are, the things you say, or whatever it is, then forget them and move on to the next person, because that's just crappy. Why are you gonna change your own ways and you like being that way for somebody who just can't accept you the way you are? So I mean, there's little things here and there that don't fit into that, are the exception and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. I'm going off on a tangent. But I personally think that the getting to know part of it is very crucial. Getting to learn their ways, their mannerisms, how they live, the things that they do, how they are, blah, blah, blah. That's why they say when you move in with somebody, you really learn how they are. You really learn about them. You learn a lot about them. Of course, like, some people don't want to move in before marriage or anything like that, you know, but even when you sleep over, you stay over if you do, or whatever it is, like, you just observe. Not in a bad way, it's just what happens. Like, you just learn more about that person as the days go on. And if there are things that you don't like about them that you don't think you could deal with for the rest of your life, like this man outside picking up the trash cans right now while I'm filming, we'll wait. Okay. Yeah, like, if there's things that you just don't like, you are at your full right and liberty to end things with that person. Find somebody who does not do those things, or that doesn't do the things that you don't like them to do, or whatever it is, and you guys are more compatible. There's always that option. So to you, I just say don't always have that fear. I mean, I feel like you won't be able to live comfortably with that person or date that person comfortably because you're always gonna have that fear. If you're scared of somebody getting drunk, then maybe don't date people that drink or stuff like that, you know what I mean? But the whole dating experience is, what if they do get drunk, how do they react? How are they? I'm sure it's not the same as when they get real pissed and they're drunk and then shit happens. I get it. But maybe in those times you'll be able to see a little tiny fits of rage that they go through, or how they are. Are they a happy drunk? Are they a sleepy drunk? I don't know. I feel like I'm not giving the right advice here, and I don't know why. I've been feeling like that way for a while recently, but I don't know, I just feel like you just gotta use your best judgment when it comes down to these things, and I feel like you shouldn't have to think about marriage right away, even if you haven't found somebody. I mean, date, and if the time comes, and the time comes, you know what I mean? Like, life is gonna bring people into your life, events into your life, and it's all in how you deal with everything, and it's gonna happen the way it's supposed to happen. That's how I believe. I feel like if something's meant to be, it's gonna happen, and it will be. There's this quote that I love so much, and it says, eventually everything connects. So everything that you're dealing with, you're gonna see the big picture in the end, and I think everything that we go through is a learning experience. But I do want to say that the whole thing with, like, you thinking women are more calm, like, yeah, sure, maybe some of us are, as it's the same thing as some men. Some men are very calm, some women are very calm. You don't ever just, like, cancel out that women couldn't ever hit you, like, or get drunk and hit you, because they can, and so can men. But it's not always gonna be that way. You can't just believe that every man or every woman that gets drunk is gonna come home and hit you. That's not how it works. I mean, there are people out there that do that and who could do that to you, but I think that that's why you also have to gauge the situation, and you also have to observe these things beforehand and watch out for yourself and protect yourself. I understand that this could be your way of protecting yourself, but this is, like, hasn't happened yet. You're far from that right now at this moment, from what I'm understanding from this comment. Like, I personally think that if you still have these fears, then it should be something you should work out with a professional, and they could give you much better advice than I can, because I have no idea. Like, I can only say what I know and how I think, and it could help you and maybe it can't, I don't know. But I would suggest that you go to a professional to actually help you through that, and they'll have far more better answers that, you know, than I could ever have for you. But moving on to the whole you being bi or not, well, first off, I say stop busting your head open about it. I know I say this a lot, but, like, if you're bi, then you're bi. If you're not, then, you know, you'll eventually figure it out. But if you are bi, let it be. Date who you want to date. Love who you want to love. Stop wasting time, precious time that you could be spending loving someone, no matter who they are, no matter their gender, no matter their sexuality. Just love that person. Just love the person you want to love, and stop worrying about other people. And I understand it. I understand that family is such a huge part of some of our lives, and maybe it's like the relationships that they have, like, you would feel like you would die without them, but the truth is that you're just gonna live a miserable life if you just live for them. You are. Look, the one positive thing out of this right now is that you have one person who is not homophobic in your family, and that's your sister. And that is amazing. At least you have one person. Yes, it's not the same as having your entire family have your back and be okay with it because they're all homophobic. I know it's probably going to be really freaking tough, really freaking hard, and it's going to tear you down. But you have the option of letting it tear you down and keep you there forever, covering it and then going back to being straight. Or you could have the option of letting it tear you down and letting it build you up to be stronger, to become stronger from this. And so many of us feel like if our family is not behind our back, then that's it, we're done. But the truth is that life goes on. Life goes on, and you have the choice. You're gonna stay there and just cry for yourself and dwell and hate your life and pretend to be somebody who you're not and be miserable and just hate it and still have your family, or maybe not have your family, I don't know. Or you can get your ass back up, dust yourself off, and start living for yourself, get a career for yourself, do the things that you wanted to do, build yourself up, whether you have your family or not, whether they come back into your life or not, but you have the option of creating your own life, living your life, and just creating a life for yourself. And letting go of the people who can't be a part of your life just because of one reason, and that one reason being their own homophobia. Because they cannot, for who knows what reasons, accept you for who you are and love you unconditionally. Because when it boils down to that, that's what it is. They cannot love you unconditionally. They don't know how to, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they don't know how to. I don't know, maybe they're just so caught up in thinking traditionally, or how they were brought up, you know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of people out there who have a traditional mindset, or who were brought up in a very homophobic home, and that's what they thought was right, to be that way, to have that hate in their heart, to have that homophobia, and continue to live on that way. They never broke those barriers. Nothing ever changed their mind, because that's how they just always were brought up and how they always thought, and so they carry that with themselves. And sometimes their own children will change that in the future. I don't know. I can't tell them. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't really tell you what could or could not change, or what could happen. But I can say that there are many possibilities out there, and one of them could be that they do come around in the future. But so long as you allow them to be homophobic towards you and not accept you, it's gonna stay that way. There's a quote that I put up today, and it says, "What you allow is what will continue." That applies to what I just said right now. What you allow will continue. If you step away from the stuff and say, hey, I love myself so damn much, and if my family can't accept me, I'm gonna conquer this, and I'm gonna conquer all the obstacles that ever come across me. I'm gonna get my ass up, and I'm gonna start building a life for myself, a name for myself, for my future family. I'm gonna live happy. And if they can't join me, then they don't join me. If they want to join me later, then I'm gonna have my arms wide open and they can come into my life. But so many of us just freaking stand there and just get so wrapped up in like the fact that, like, if your family can accept you, then why are you staying there? Get up. Find a job, get things that you gotta do. Yeah, it may not be easy, but nothing that is worth it comes easy. So put some hard work into it and get yourself where you want to be. Life works in crazy ways, you know, mysterious ways. So maybe at one point your parents or your family will be like, dang, like, look at our son, look at our daughter, look at our kid growing and doing things and accomplishing the things that they've always dreamed of. They're doing good for themselves. And the truth is that yes, maybe they won't ever come around, but at least you're in a place where you're so happy, where you have genuine people, where you have genuine love, unconditional love, where you have people that support you, whether that's just your one sister, whether it's another family member, or whether it's a bunch of your friends, new friends, friends who care about you, who care about your happiness, who watch out for you, who look out for you, not who tear you down because of who you like, who you love. That should never be allowed in your life. And if it is allowed and has been allowed, you have the opportunity to stop that, to remove it from your life, and to continue. You don't need to keep those people around. I know it might hurt, and I know it might tear you down to not have a good relationship with your family, especially if you guys are so close, especially if you've always had that. But know that you have the option to let that go and move on for yourself. Live for yourself. I know it's not that easy. I know. But it's out there and it's possible. And you, only you, have the ability, the strength, and the power and the control to do that. Because you are you and they are they. They cannot be you. They cannot wake up one morning and jump into your body and take control over you. Only you can. If you're young, ride the wave out until you can afford to move out and you're not dependent on them. And I'm not saying ride the wave out and just be like, yeah, this cool, live in my mom and dad's house, even though they hate me. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I get it. I get that we do need our parents' help to a certain degree, to a certain extent, but you have the power to start working early, as soon as you can balance everything, because you could find balance in your life. I know oftentimes we find excuses. I know I've found many excuses many times, but quit the excuses. Find a job. If there's a place that you could work for 2-3 hours and that's all you can deal with a day, fine, because you have school and everything, fine, but do it. There's so many hours in a day and so many of us just let them go to waste, especially when it comes to something like this, like wanting to be out and wanting not to depend on your parents. Well, if you really want that, then get your ass up and go get a job, go do these things, get your stuff done, get your school schooling done, get whatever you have to get done, and save up so you can be able to move out and not have to depend on them and not have to follow their rules because you're under their roof. You'll be under your own roof and have your own rules, and nobody will be able to bug you that way. And that way, if they say, you know what, get out of here, we don't accept you for how you are, we can't have that, and you'll be like, all right, peace, I'm out, I'm going to my house. If you want to come back and talk to me, you know, I'm willing to talk to you, whatever it is. But now you have somewhere to go. Now you have somewhere to live. Yeah, it might be sad and lonely for you, but at least you're doing something for yourself. You're gonna have to eventually become independent, so why not start as soon as you can? I just want you guys to see this. Like, time is precious here on earth, and I understand because I am one person that has let so much time slip by, so many opportunities. I understand, but I've gotten to a point where I just feel so upset with myself because I let those opportunities slide by, and I continue to sometimes, but I'm working on it. And it's a work in progress. We're all works in progress. It just boils down to how fast you start pressing that resume button to keep going, and how long you leave it at pause, and how long you keep rewinding and press stop instead of that play button and continue to go. Everybody is entitled to love and happiness, and sometimes that means having to break away from the things that are really hindering you and making you sad and keeping you from being that. And sometimes that's our family, sometimes that's our closest friends, sometimes that's our job, sometimes that's just, it's whatever it is that's keeping you from that. And sometimes you have to break away from that and you have to go do you, no matter how long that takes, no matter what you're going to lose along the way. Because remember, when you lose something, you gain something. When one door closes, another one opens. So keep that in mind. I don't know. I think I've talked enough, but I just want you guys to know that you deserve love, and you deserve to give yourself that love, even if your family members are not on that boat with you. You have the power to give yourself love. That's why you have your own heart, to give yourself that love that you deserve. And it starts with loving yourself. It really does, because when you love yourself, you accept yourself, even when nobody else does. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that, and I hope that you guys enjoy this video. And I went off a little bit, but I hope I made some sense. I hope I touched somebody's life out there. Thank you so much for spending some time in this video. I'll see you guys next time. And remember, if there's one thing that I want to call to mind, there are actually 3. No matter the highs, the lows, always be certain to do good. Be grateful and stay humble. Bye.